Hello and welcome to the next edition of Verdi's lecture. I think it's the fifth edition right now. What is Verdi's lecture? I'm explaining stuff out of the esport scene, like players, organizations, why are they not in certain games, how does a game have to develop. I will have future episodes talking about like what does a game actually have or to contain as a content, to have as a maintenance plan or as a year plan. What does it have to deliver to the players, etc., etc. So I'm talking about stuff, trying to actually teach something to the community that they obviously don't know, and trying to help in this kind of way. Sometimes it gets a bit rough when I'm telling some stuff, but yeah, well, that's obvious. That happens. That's obvious. So yeah, going to my my today's title, or actually to the today's topic, which you can see here, is anti-cheat and how hard it is to contain hackers. First of all, when you play a game, it does not matter what kind of game, always be careful when you throw around your accusations. Never ever follow the rule. There's a golden rule out there for noobs, and I call those guys noobs. Yes, if someone is better than me, he's a hacker. That does not work. So always be careful about when you call someone a hacker. He just can be good. I played with the Zizou guys in Rainbow Six. They called them hackers. Yes, they are pro league team. They are fucking one of the best teams ever out there. Sorry for the F word, but yes. I played with our Counter-Strike Go players, and everyone was accusing them of being hackers. Yes, well, they're full-time pros. What do you expect? So yeah, the thing is, always think about your own position in kind of the room, why actually the team does not work. Could it be you? So try to actually self-reflect in this way, okay? So yeah, going to Rainbow Six, when they actually introduced BattleEye is doing really good. I couldn't believe my eyes when actually BattleEye hit the servers, and like the you could call it eye porn. It was amazing. It was AC porn. That was just the anti-cheat just going nuts. It just, well, blew everything away. Going to Fair Fight, many games use Fair Fight. Fair Fight is a very, very good anti-cheat tool, but it's more a statistic-based tool. It goes to not that complex kind of hardware scanning if there's something, whatever. So it's actually detecting if the game is being influenced in a very brute force way, like you have a memory inject, or if you have a texture inject, or if you're using a trainer. So like there was already a player that actually used a trainer to practice and to say something that, oh, I practiced with it, I didn't do that online. Yes, okay, well, proofs have been delivered otherwise. The thing is that there's a lot of there's a lot of things to actually mention about Fair Fight. It just does partially work, because statistics only work if you have a huge load of numbers. If you don't have that much players, your player base is pretty small. It can't go into comparison with other players without the behavior based on the other players and the matches, etc. So it's really hard for it to keep track. But yeah, BattleEye did just better. Why are there possible hacks? The thing is, everything which is programmed on the PC, which is software code, is handwritten, and you can bypass everything. There's nothing which is 100% proof. Maybe if you go full hardware, then you can go maybe proof, but still you have to be careful about someone maybe tampering with the software, because if you look, for example, onto cars, you can do chip tuning. Motorcycles have even the harder chip tune, but still you can get the control panel out. You can drill some holes, and yeah, just remove the EEPROM and put a new one in, and you have your bike hacked and have more power in it. So everything can be sort of hacked or done. So if a game like Rainbow Six Siege, which has a lot of features with a lot of modules, we have the destruction model, we have the different abilities of the players. We have vision here, we have this and that, this and that. If there is a patch coming, there is a possible new attack strategy for any kind of hacker. So yeah, always have to be careful about requesting features. Could that work? For example, we have the Steam Workshop, which is a hack delivery tool, because we know that there was certain hacks in many pro teams, like Hewley has been busted. Those hacks were delivered through the Steam Workshop, so they were like if you have the App Store for Apple. If you're programming an app, you can have certain mobiles that this app is going to be assigned to as a testing service. So let's say player A pays the hack coder a lot of money, let's say 2,000 euros per month. So the hack coder assigns that to his Steam account, and he just gets a map, for example, to his account, because the map actually contains the code, or just a texture, or not even a texture, maybe a picture or whatever. There is a lot of things that can actually contain hacks. It can be an MP3 tool or whatever, an MP3 file. There's a lot of things that can. Yeah, my cable cord here from the headset is, yeah, it just jumped away. So there's a lot of things where hacks can be delivered through, so you have to be always careful. So like if you go, okay, you place and implement a workshop where people can actually implement items, etc. You have to be careful that actually this could be a huge breach for hackers to actually implement and inject hacks into the game code itself, which is really hard to detect, because obviously, yeah, well, it took them a long time to detect that in Counter-Strike. Or other games, to be honest. So even going with an API, a server API, it's really dangerous, because you can use APIs also to attack servers and, well, to get sort of a bit of control over service. So it's really, really, really dangerous. And to explain how hacks actually are being implemented right now, there's always new ideas from the hacking community, those guys who are actually programming. I mean, we start out with back in the days it was called OBS, like the Open Broadcaster software, but it was in Counter-Strike 6.5, 1.5, 1.2, whatever. It was like a multi-hacking tool. You could watch the roles, you had an aimbot, you had everything in it. You could just have everything. You had a wall hack with an aimbot, with everything. Right now, you have an iPhone app, for example. There's someone in the audience with an iPhone app, just clicking a button and you have a kind of a better headshot rate on your screen. You can have custom maps, for example. Those maps in Counter-Strike where people are practicing on, and they're just in a certain code of what they are hitting when they're applying sort of settings to their trigger. There can be hardware dongles, for example, and keyboards for every game that people have to, for example, on a major tournament in Counter-Strike or in any other game, they have to actually give away the keyboard. That keyboard is being scanned the same as the mouse and the headset. So it's being scanned for possible hardware dongles, that there's no USB stick or a memory actually. A memory device, memory storing device implemented into those that can actually, that has a sending access to the PC that can implement a hack, for example. There are virtual machines on PCs at home, for example, also that the virtual machine actually injects the hack into the memory of the main PC, which is not seen by any AC tool because it's within the container, within the jail of the VM, and it's really hard. There's a lot of things, and there's the worst, which I just had as an information. It is network cloning. So, for example, you have two PCs, one PC you're playing with, and one other PC, which is actually just receiving and sending the same data as the PC, but it has the hack on it, and the player actually playing does not see anything, but the second PC does, because you clone the packages. And I mean, you have to imagine you cloning network packages and whatever you're doing just to be shit. Sorry, but hackers are nothing more than just blah. And what kind, I mean, respect to the guys who are actually developing such things, but you could do better with this idea. It's like, yeah, it's just well, whatever. Yeah, well, I could go deeper into that, but yeah. So it's really hard to contain this, because you would have to remove all phones, mobile phones. You have to tell people to turn off mobile phones within a venue, that people can't have the mobile phone there. You have to block everything. There should not be any access with any other things, so it's really hard. You have to always play in offline mode, that the PCs have like a basic config that the players cannot set up their config, because maybe in the config you can set up some sort of hack, because it's possible. There's really a lot of things. They're getting harder to detect, obviously. I mean, right now, most hacks are trigger bots in a kind of way. So that, for example, you aim at a person, or you aim at an angle, and the person of the opponent is here, which only the spectator sees, but the player doesn't. And he just has a trigger, because the trigger, when he presses the trigger, it drags to the right. For example, for you, to the left. So it drags to the right, or left, whatever. And it just drags close there, so the player who's actually aiming at that angle knows, okay, there's someone to the right, there's someone right, and there's no other way he can come around, because he has to come there, so he's sitting right. So, for example, Counter-Strike, when you're on Dust 2, when you're on B, you're aiming into the catacombs, and there's one to the right boxes, and he can't go anywhere more than right, but so you're aiming, and you're just triggering him. Okay, so you're not shooting, you're just dragging, your crosshair is just dragging, you release it as fast as possible, because you just want the drag, you just want the info, you don't want to have the headshot, you don't want to have anything, you just want to have the info, so you can call a guy. So it's really hard to have this detected. It's not the blunt hacks that a wall hack or an aimbot headshot hack or whatever. It's more those triggers that you see people through smokes, that you just know information, you get info. So it's really hard. Also, about accusations, it's really hard to detect them, especially like if they're triggers or whatever. But also in Rainbow Six, for example, it's really hard to call out a player a hacker. Everyone should know that the kill cam is off. Everyone knows it, and it's being repaired, but it takes a lot of time, because every player has a different setting. So, for example, if a player with a FOV of 50, which is impossible, but still, with a FOV of 50 kills a player, and I play with a FOV of 120, which is also impossible, but it looks for me really weird, because I'm on a FOV of 120. My FOV in-game is not changing to the 50 of the player who actually killed me, because he saw something different. So it looks completely off. So people should learn not to be, I have the kill cam, I prove you're a hacker. No, it does not work. It does just not work. So never ever go through that. Also, that in a kill cam, you sometimes don't have recall, and it's known, and yeah, whatever. Because it's just to show, okay, you got killed from that certain angle, and that's it. And yeah, well, there's so many things that are, well, that you should really take into consideration before calling someone a hacker. But for a better system in a kind of way, it should be a replay system. I talked about that already, but a replay system could help to have some sort of Overwatch kind of style, that the player, that there's a certain pool of players that are invited that can review players, and with a sort of replay editor. They can go slow-mo, they can go fast and check everything, and then vote up if he's a hacker or vote down if he's not. For example, you have 5,000 players watching a replay, and 4,000 calling him a hacker and 1,000 are not, so you probably you have a hacker, because it's obvious. So this could be implemented, but again, this takes time. Yet always be careful if you call someone a hacker, because I actually did not happen to find hackers in game right now. No one has ever been so blunt. The thing is, the software is always, or is mostly not even detectable by a different software. If you go into a VM, it's really hard to find. You can just have your anti-cheat not allow VMs, but there's people who have to work in private also with the VM, server administrators, whatever. So they have to have virtual machines running, and if your anti-cheat is not allowing those, it's really bad. It's same like there have been anti-cheat tools for MMOs, like anti-bot tools or cheat tools for MMOs that did not allow Logitech keyboards. So if you had a Logitech keyboard, you could not play. And that was a real problem until they actually fixed that issue. So it's the same with VMs. So you can't actually prohibit them or stop them from using VMs, because they have to use them in order to earn money. So it's really hard to do so. It could really cause a pain. The thing is, Also, for certain leagues, if you call someone a hacker, you have to be court proof. So you really have to find 100% manifested proof that he's a hacker. The best is that he says, I did it. At this point of time, I used this in this hack. Because the thing is, if you call someone out a hacker and he's being stopped from playing in a league or whatever, he can call his lawyer and say, hey, they are not allowing me and they don't have proof. And then they're like, okay, so he has to have proof. He's contracted a player. He's being accused of something. You're killing his reputation. Why is that so? Because if you kill someone's reputation by just calling him a hacker, you can be really also in trouble. If there's, for example, I'm playing and there's a guy calling me a hacker and he's posting it in many forums and he's calling me out, and I could actually go to my lawyer and call him that, hey, that guy is bad-mouthing me, and he can actually be sued because this could be really bad for my own reputation. So you have to be really, really careful. And the thing is also that if you wanna have tools that are really hardcore scanning for possible hacks, you are in a data security law kind of gray zone, black zone, red list-ish kind of no-go zone. Because the thing is that for example in Germany, the data security, they are really nuts. They don't allow anything. So if you want to scan someone has to be acknowledging it, and there has to be a full text, and no one will read it. But the data security guys, they say you have to read it, but if you don't, you're free. And there's so much things which you have to take into consideration, which I don't want to go deeper in. But it's really hard to have this checked. But yeah, all in all, it's becoming really harder. The thing is, if you have a very, very suspicious player, you can always report them. Obviously, Ubisoft is working on this. I think they have a team though, that are working on any reported bad behaving player. The thing is, why they are not transparent with it, like we have this guy under observation, whatever, it's obvious. First of all, they don't want to leak any technology they are using in order to fight against hackers, because if they actually would leak the technology, it makes the hacking programmers more easy to find the hackers. So yeah, well, don't brag about that. So if anyone goes there and say, why are you not transparent, why are you not doing anything, they are, but they are not going to public with it, because it would be really bad, because it would just show the hackers how to counter this. And when they're kind of when they're under observation and they are being called that they are under observation, the players who are actually being observed stop hacking because they know they're under observation. Yeah, that's pure logic, and it probably doesn't take a lot of intelligence to know that. So people, please stay calm about that. Well, yeah, that was what I was saying. So, but Ubisoft puts a lot of effort. We saw this with BattleEye, and they're doing great with it. I just love it. So, all in all, there is a thing which I want to say is always be careful when you call someone when you call someone a hacker only because he's pretty good in the game. Maybe he's just good. And I think 99% of the time, they are just better than you. And if they are, try to learn from this mistake and get better. Get the fuck better. Because it's just your fault that you died and not him being a hacker. So don't white knight him and be anything or whatever. It's just bad. Yeah. But also, it could only be me, but I never had hackers in the game right now. Well, after the BattleEye implementation, it's just really good. There's only one minor good thing about the hackers in game, but this is really taken from far away. There is hackers programming, and they're selling good hacks because they see a potential in the game that it's going big, and they could earn more money. So it's kind of good because they see also potential, but they also destroy it. So it's not good, but it's kind of where you say, okay, there have been other games, for example, there has been Shootmania that did not have a lot of hacks. Only when there was IPL and Crew, a player has been busted with a hack, but there was not much, and that was actually good because the game had a pretty small player base, and it's really good in this kind of way. So I liked it, but yeah. So the thing is that with games with a low population will probably not get hacks, or actually will just have blunt hacks and they won't just work because they're probably being busted fast. So it's kind of okay-ish, and the game has a huge player base. And just as an appeal, please guys, don't go anywhere and just call everyone a hacker just because they're better. Please promise that to me. I will do so too, because I don't have hackers. Probably because when I see the Pro League players, I just know, okay, there's just players that are way better than me. So to keep that in mind, there's a lot of players that are better than you, and there's a minority, and those are those guys who want to destroy the game, or just, I don't know what reason they are being driven by their hackers, but they will be banned out of the game. Even if they buy a new game, they will probably be banned. So if you have someone, report him. Please do so. Promise that to me. Anything else? Thank you for watching. Leave a sub, leave a like, and a comment if you want to join this discussion. Thank you so much, and bye bye.